Hello my friends, welcome back for more Reddit stories. Today we have a couple of entitled parent stories for you to enjoy, so sit back, relax, and let's go. Give my kid your PS5 or you have ruined his Christmas. So the other day, I, 30-year-old male, got lucky and managed to get a hold of a PS5, which are like gold dust in the UK at the moment. Work has been ridiculous this year and my PS4 broke a few months back. To say I'm hyped for it and some holiday downtime is an understatement. The console finally arrived the other day and was left with my neighbor. I knocked on the door, thanked them for taking the parcel and exchanged some pleasantries when she casually asked if it was anything nice. I told her it was a PS5. We had the usual small talk and went back inside, thinking nothing of it. Later, we had a knock on the door from her husband, 38-ish. He said that his wife had mentioned I had gotten a PS5 and wanted one for their 7-year-old son. It was all his son wanted this year, and it has been a tough year for his son as he's not able to see his friends much. So would I consider selling it to them for what I bought it for? I said I understood, but I really didn't want to sell it as I was looking forward to playing it. That's when things got a bit weird. He huffed a little and said Christmas should be about kids and I should really consider how hard it's been for them and offered me an extra £50. I said I wouldn't be selling it for any price. I wasn't looking to make money on it. I just really wanted to play it. He laughed but said he hoped I would reconsider as you and I are a bit old for video games anyway, and walked off. End of story, I thought. The next day he comes over again, this time with his son. He said his son really wanted to see the PS5 he heard about. The boy then said to me that's what he really wanted for Christmas and hoped Santa would get him one. I replied that hopefully he would, but it's really busy for him this year, so he might have to wait a little longer, but if not, I'm sure he would get something nice instead. Another day passes and my fiance said they had posted something weird on social media about there's a neighborhood group how they had thought 2020 would have made people less selfish and more giving, but they were disappointed in their neighborhood which had forgotten community spirit, and how people should be more thoughtful towards the children in the streets given how much they have all suffered this year. Off the back of it, my fiance asked if I should sell them the console just to keep the peace. Later in the day, they came around again to tell me that I had promised their son he would be getting a PS5 for Christmas, and now it would be ruined if he didn't get one. She said that I am an adult and should be thinking of kids at Christmas, not acting like one playing video games, and that I was being unbelievably selfish and cruel. He added that he didn't know how we could enjoy Christmas knowing we were horrible people that had ruined a 7-year-old's Christmas. Now, I've also heard from some people on the street that they have been talking shit about us to people, though most neighbors are just staying out of it, but we're definitely getting some daggers from the moms whose lunch crew. We live in a super nice neighborhood, but it's firmly middle class, lots of private school kids called Hattie and Sebastian, etc. We're definitely the youngest on the street and the weird childless couple, which I don't think PS5 Gate is helping with. My fiance just wants to sell it to them to end it, but I'm still trying to hold firm. Honestly, I feel like I'm losing my mind at this point. Sister-in-law and entitled parent literally has her child call and ask for my grandmother's doll the day of the funeral. So my grandmother collected dolls and we did it together for years. She then fell ill with lung cancer and we cared for her at home. I was working 32 hours a week and going to college and watching her at night so my mom could rest. We received zero help from my siblings and no help from grandma's other kids, except an aunt who stayed with her for a week and called for us to come home early from the trip because she couldn't do it, even though she took care of her dead husband's mother and treated her like a queen. Fast forward to my grandmother's passing. The day after grandmother passed, my sister-in-law calls me and said, "What are you doing with grandmother's dolls?" I said that they would be put away for safekeeping for now because we were in so much pain that I literally felt my heart physically hurting. We were so sad about grandmother's dying because she lived with us the whole time growing up. She then proceeds to tell me I need to let each girl pick one and take care of it, or maybe just give them to the girls who never visited grandma because I was a grown woman. Grandmother had left me the dolls, I told her no, and she was beyond livid. The day of the funeral, I pick up the phone as we are literally walking to the door with coats on to leave and her daughter calls me. Her daughter was about 5 or 6 at the time and could never have even formed to thought of asking and didn't even notice them when she did visit as a baby or toddler. She was made to ask me for the dolls. I literally hear my sister-in-law in the background feeding her what to say, hear her say that I would give it to her daughter because I wouldn't tell her no like I did to sister-in-law. I politely told my niece that I wasn't doing that right now and that they were too young to take care of them anyways, so that would be decided later. Then I asked to speak to the sister-in-law and tell her that it was inappropriate and she shouldn't have her daughter call because it set her up to be hurt. Sister-in-law was still mad because those are expensive dolls and there are too many for you to deserve them to keep all of them. This is coming from the same woman that kept her kids away from my parents and ghosted them and then sent the child over as she neared 18 to ask if my dad was going to put her in his and my mom's will. Really? I was so happy when my brother divorced her after she left a Dear John note on the table. She wanted to experiment basically because I never showed my oats when I was young. From what I understand, she showed plenty. They had been married for 17 years. Apparently, she married him for our family name and thought he would be rich then because my dad drove a Lincoln and had a business and she thought my brother would inherit everything. Apparently, she got tired of waiting. She was just plain entitled as a parent and as a person in general. How my entitled dad ruined my 13th birthday to spite my mom. So, my parents divorced when I was 7. Mom got full custody of me and my brother, but Daddy Dearest got visitation rights. Sometimes he kept on them, sometimes he got too drunk to even call our mother that he wasn't coming. That summer weekend, which was my 13th birthday, was Daddy's weekend. But Mom asked if she can have me that weekend because there was a music event in our city and my favorite singer was one of the artists who was supposed to perform there. Mother wanted to take me there as a birthday present. Dad said, no way, not gonna happen. So off to Dad's place we went. His spouse of the time actually drew me a little birthday party and that was nice. After that, Dad said he was going to take me to the music event. I knew he did it to spite my mom, but I was still excited to go. My favorite singer was amazing and I was so happy to be there until he was done and it was some other band's turn. I was not interested in any other artists, so I went to find my dad. I found him on the drinking area. Bad sign. We were on the car and he drank already more than a few beers. I asked nicely, can we go now? It was getting late and I did not want to hear any more music. Dad said, fuck no. He paid tickets, so he was going to listen every band who was going to play. If I did not like that, I should go and wait in the car and he gave me keys. I did not argue because I was afraid of him then, especially when he drank. So I went to the car. I was tired, upset and terrified. I was 13 years old who was sitting alone in a lonely car in restless part of the city after the midnight because Dad did not want to pay parking in safe areas. I wanted to go home and I needed to use bathroom, but there was not any kid-friendly place open anymore. I did not have anything to do but draw 2 post-it notes and I could not call anyone because my phone was almost dead. That was not the time of the smartphones. After 3 hours sitting alone, scared and tired and holding back urge to pee, my dad finally came. He was so drunk that he could not walk properly and he had 2 complete strangers with him, who also were very drunk. Dad said we were going to give them drive home. I asked if it was okay to him to drive and he yelled me that of course, and I was effing stupid to even think that. I went silent. We gave strangers drive to home. Then before we got to Dad's place, we pulled up to the gas station. I finally got to the bathroom and then he bought me an iced tea and we talked. He told me that he was very disappointed in me, he wanted to give me a fun night and all I did was complaining. He told me I was a very bad girl but he forgave me and if I act nicely rest of the weekend we did not have to tell my mom about any of this. It was one of the worst nights of my young life back then. Now that I am older, I've realized that he gaslighted and threatened me to be silent because if mom would have found out that he put my life in risk by leaving me alone in the car and driving drunk with me, she would have made sure that he would never see me or my brother again. If he wanted so badly listen to music and drank, why would not let my mom to take me to the music event or go without me? Because he is a spiteful human being who have always blamed my mom everything. I have a lot of stories of him, even though I started to cut all contact with him since I was 14 or 15 years old. So those were the entitled parent stories for today's video. A thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.